Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Deep Blue Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deep Blue Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 53. Today is Saturday, August 15th, 2014, and I'd like to welcome you all to my little balcony. It's supposed to be pretty sultry today, so the earlier I get this done, the earlier I can go back to the air conditioning. And hopefully it's not too dark. I was trying to figure out a way to make it work. It's almost like I'm so far up I don't even get the benefit of the tree to shade me because I'm for the most part above the tree. Maybe I see the tree. Maybe. Yeah. So the tree's not very tall. um, it's been 2 weeks or ish since I've recorded last. So it's been, what is it, like a really crazy month this past month. So hopefully I can start to settle into a more regular schedule. Because it's no fun to be all out of sorts, if you know what I mean. So I guess to start off with, last night I ended up finally blocking my new drum. And I believe that it's 9 feet long now, which is sort of cool because it means that there's enough movement there. So you can see how it's become all transparent from blocking. And I didn't do really anything to this. I quite simply laid it, like I stretched it out and then I laid it flat to dry. So the ends are a little bit bigger than the middle. The middle ended up just being sort of thinner, but it is quite, it's quite larger now, which ends up making it much easier to, sort of flop it around and rearrange as needed in order to get it to wrap up. So I'm really happy with how it ended up blocking out because it was not quite right the way it was fresh off the needles. So there we go. Move 'em, which was by Martina Bem, and then Walk on the Moon, which is from Arlene's World of Lace. And yep. So finally, totally done. Which is exciting. In terms of knitting, I have been working on two things, which are the same two things I've been working on for quite some time. I guess I'll start with this. So what I have here is the, what is it? Alfalfa sweater. And as I was knitting, or I was decanning with Joyody, and I realized that this sweater had the same problem that the other sweater had, but worse. So I ended up having this like band of a lighter color, which was sort of crazy making. So right along here. So the correct action is to reknit the sweater and alternate skeins, which is really frustrating. But like really that's the only thing that's going to actually work. And what I have here is the bodice, which ended up prompting me to redo the bodice and try to wrap down the sleeves, but I'm like, it's a mess right now because I was trying to pick up all the stitches so that I could pull the sleeves off and graft them on, but it's not worth doing all the work of grafting if it's the wrong color. So I'm not sure how long I'm going to let this project sit. I know that having a fingering weight sweater will get used a lot in Dallas. It's just a matter of, just being frustrated with how this project was going. Because the color is gorgeous, it's just I seem to have 3 different colors of the yarn, which is frustrating, but I don't know. I should have been safe at the very beginning and alternated schemes. And if I had alternated schemes, maybe it would have blended together better, but yeah. It just reaches a point where you know you want it, but it's not worth it. So I'm gonna have to rip everything out and start over afresh. Another thing was that what was it? The bodice was actually a slightly different size than the body. It turned out I decided at some point to knit a smaller size of sweater, but I'd already marked my pattern for the larger size. So yeah, that was pretty silly too. And I didn't end up checking my notes before I went to see which size I actually had decided to knit. So all sorts of special things all around. The other project that I've been working on, which really has been the one that's gotten the most love, is the Maurice sock, which is a pattern by Stephanie van der Linden. It's in the book Op Art Socks. And I've ended up getting quite a bit of progress done on this sock. It ended up being really great airplane knitting, so I ended up going on a flight last weekend to Michigan, and yeah. So I also ended up finding a new knitting group Friday night, and they ended up having some very interesting stories about all the people that they had scared away from the knitting group, but I'm enough of a nerd that it won't be a problem. They're weird. I like it. So I was really happy to find a knitting group that I actually meshed with. Yeah, because like it's so much nicer to be able to knit with some people as opposed to knitting all by yourself. It's not that fancy. So I finished the chart, and I believe where I am right now is I'm actually setting up the toe. So I have a couple of, I'll have to call my husband at some point and have him stand on a ruler again just to double check. But he needs to have a toe that, I believe that his foot length is in total 11 inches, which means that I'm going to have to knit 9 inches in order to get this long enough for his foot, I believe. Or it's 10 inches. Yeah, so I just need to call him and make sure. But the toe on the first sock didn't work for him. It was supposed to be a rounded toe, so I'm not sure why it was so pointy. But I'm just going to do the normal toe, so I'm just going to do the 1x1 red, black, whatever, until I get to the end there. And there's a little mistake on one of the lizards, but it's really hard to tell, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. One of the legs ended up getting a row ahead of the rest of the little pattern, but if you could tell, it would be quite impressive. So, almost done with this stupid pair of socks. Woo! So, as a result, I don't know. That was the other thing about the knitting group is back home I have a sweater, I want a frog, and I'm knitting on this pair of socks, and they were just mystified. So, some point soon, I'm going to have to start a new knitting project. I'm really honestly unsure about what that's going to be. So, I don't know if you guys have any ideas. What is it? The Hitofood? I don't know. I'm just trying to guess what that word sounds like when you try to say it Japanese style. But Hitofood is supposedly spreading like wildfire through Ravelry. And that is a seamless, no break, the ball of yarn cardigan. Which seems very intriguing to me. I know that it would be interesting to knit different shawls, quite possibly. I could knit my grandfather's socks. I don't know. So there are maybe lots of potential things I could do. It's just like I just haven't been like really itching to cast something on. Probably it doesn't help that it has been whatever. I don't know. The rest of the week is going to be in the high 90s, low hundreds. So I think all this warm weather has made knitting less attractive. But what can you do? So I don't know if you guys had any input on what I should start next. Because honestly, like maybe it just turns out that since my yarn is all boxed up in my closet right now, if I start pulling it out and rolling in it, like maybe something would end up popping out that would be a clear winner. I did also get some spinning done in the last 2 weeks. I don't know if I've done any spinning this week. I don't know. My little bag is on top of my chair. All right, got it. So, I decided to start a new spinning project. And it's been, so what is it? Oh, I ended up forgetting to bring another fiber, but that probably won't be the end of the world. So I started a new spinning project. I decided I didn't want to take the Rolex with me on my plane flight to Michigan. And so then this is what I'm working on. This is some fiber that I ended up buying at the Albuquerque Fiber Fiesta, which was way back when at episode 0. It is from Redfish Dye Works. It is a 50% silk, 50% superfine merino. And I'm spinning it, what I think to be fairly thin. I haven't ended up pulling up the iSpin toolkit to see where my rough per inch is coming in at, but so far so good. I ended up bringing it with me as a project to work on in the airports, because people are quite fascinated when you spin in an airport. And it's very, very strange to be working with superfine merino. It sort of wants to like stick to anything. So it's a mixture of like a sky blue, some darker blues, purples. And there's like almost like a hint of orangey brown in some parts. But when it ends up getting spun off, you can't even really see the orangey brown at all. So it's very moody and very dark. And it's been very, very easy to spin. So that's been coming along fairly nicely. I'm almost done with the first ounce at this point. I don't know. Or I feel like I'm almost done with the first ounce. So this is how much I have left of the first quarter. I'm probably just going to spin it all in one really long run and then 2-ply it on itself. It was the case where I couldn't take half and be able to draft off of it, but I could take a quarter and be able to draft off of it. It's very interesting how it was dyed as well, so I've been really happy with this. I was just sort of in need of like a really fun, really straightforward spinning project. Even if it is fun and straightforward and spinning like a 2-ply lace weight. And that hopefully, I'm expecting that the yarn's actually going to be really, really lovely to knit with, so that might end up getting cast on as soon as it's, whatever, washed and whacked and dried. So I still haven't found anyone in the area who's a spinner too, so what was it? I could go on an adventure and see whether or not the weaving and spinning, store is still in White Rock Lake or something. Who knows? It could be an interesting adventure. But yeah, no, I didn't end up working on the chocolate Shetland fleece in the last 2 weeks, or probably even longer than that. It's just the case where I haven't felt inspired. Maybe I should get back at it, because if I'm going, like, I guess the other thing is that there really is no chance that I will be able to spin a pound of that fiber before the end of September, unless I really buckle down. I don't know how I feel about really buckling down, so I certainly have like lots of knitting podcasts to watch, because whatever, that like 2 very stressful weeks when I was moving out of my old apartment and into my new apartment, I ended up falling behind on most of them. So so I certainly have lots of things to spin to. It's just whatever, it matters, setting aside the time. I guess it doesn't help that I've been like busy for whatever the last 3 weekends, so this has been lovely. Like, I have plans for the weekend, but I still have like time to accomplish things, and I'm looking forward to whatever. Well, what is it? Just taking some things off my list. So I really need to do laundry today. I discovered last weekend that I could do laundry, but I had enough work clothes that I could make it to Saturday, so I just deferred on that one. So I really do need to do laundry today. I have one stash position for the week. I ended up getting my Nest Fiber Club in the mail. So this, the colorway is Shoshone, and it is a mixture of orange, true red, purple, lime green, sort of that brown color that Jen just really makes work. The fiber is thin, which is new to me and interesting. And I haven't even taken this out of the bag yet, so it's a surprise. So, looking to me like it is dyed with those long color repeats. If I could end up holding this up in a way that makes them all line up on top of each other so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Yep, so a little bit of overlap there, but not too bad. So I don't even know if you guys can really see the colors. So we have the minty green going into the orange and browns, and then like a really true red, and then a purple color. I've seen some people have actually already spun this up, and it is, how would I describe it? So if the Primavera was a spring rainbow, this Shoshone is more like a fall palette rainbow. So very interesting. I'm probably going to be spinning my first Nest Fiber Club, which was the Magpie, before I get around to this. And I think, what is it? But what we have here is another really lovely braid from the Fabulous Jen. And probably it's the case where, what is it? Probably does bad things to suck the air out of the fiber. I'm probably not actually going to be renewing my club for October, November, and December, but that is simply because my fiber usage is fairly slow, so it'll be the case where it should be possible to get back into the club later. But for now, I would say, what is it? The Nest Fiber Club is definitely the easiest way, stress-free, to get some really gorgeous braids. And that, in terms of colorways, I think the Magpie is the only one that I was sort of like, yeah, whatever about. But then to see the finished yarn, it's all really amazing. So the short answer is I just don't end up spending 4 ounces a month, so it doesn't make sense for me to continue being in the club and continue to accumulate ounces. But I do highly, highly recommend this club because it's Jen of Nest. Her fiber updates are going so freaking fast that I don't have the F5 skills to go after it or the motivation to do the F5 skills to go after it. But I'm really happy that I've accumulated a nice stash of it. And it's the one braid that I have spun so far was an absolute joy to spin. So so it's just sort of the case where I need to lay out for a little while. But I'm really excited to get my September shipment as well, and that won't be too far off at this point. I ended up needing to have that braid sent to my work, and it seemed to not be a big deal that I did that. Thank goodness. So that's the story there. I probably don't really need to be worried about having things shipped to my apartment. I think it was just a bit of a mess because of what is it? I believe it was a bit of a mess because you're dealing with all of this leftover stuff from previous residents. That was hilarious too. Because there was like all this mail, like when I checked my mail for the first time in the apartment complex, I found mail from 3 different previous residents. And then I ended up getting a water bill, which I don't need to worry about, from like the last resident who had none of the mail. So I'm like 4 different people. Full of nonsense. So, what else? So I am planning on recording next week. That is going to be August 23rd. And maybe it turns out I record Sunday or Saturday. I figure as long as I get it in on a weekend, it's not going to be a big deal. What other things are going on? Like, things to look forward, I know that there's going to be a Dallas yarn crawl in October, so I hope that I'll be able to do that. The state fair is coming up. I didn't end up entering anything into the state fair. It turns out the Texas State Fair has a couple of issues, like you have to enter by the beginning of July. You're not guaranteed to get your item back. I think that's the real crux there. And that the people they have judging the dang competition are knitters. So so it's sort of the case where they don't end up realizing that the pattern that you spun the yarn for and designed and then knit is orders of magnitude more amazing than something you got on a free pattern, possibly. I don't know. I have some Elizabeth Freeman designs I'm pretty sure would end up really wowing people. So as such, I don't know whether or not I will enter into the state fair next year. I think it depends on the magnitude of crazy of the projects I work on. And I would sort of need to, what is it? I would need to end up not having it for a long time, because I think the state fair is in September, but you have to bring in your entries in July. Like the beginning of July, it doesn't make sense. So, oh well, such is life. I'm looking forward to a fun weekend this weekend. I'm going to be checking out, so I got a membership at the climbing gym. I've been meeting people there, and they have like yoga classes, and it really beats me up, and I figure that's probably a good thing for me. And it's a really good way to meet people because rock climbers tend to be fairly friendly folk. And then I ended up finding a cool knitting group, so I'm really excited about that. And what else? Stuff. I'm going to be visiting my husband Labor Day weekend, so I'm going to take a little bit off of work so then I'll be able to go rock climbing with him because I'll be coming in early enough to do that, so that's going to be quite a lot of fun. We're probably going to be doing exciting things like working on the house. I'm probably not going to be recording on the porch. We probably need to paint the porch. Oh well, so it'll be really nice to be with him. So whatever, I got 3 weekends in a row with him, and then whatever, I have to wait 3 weekends before I can be with him again. Won't be the end of the world. And I'm really excited about. The other thing I'm excited about is that, or was it? Um, on Thursday, the new employees in the organization or whatever in the division I'm in ended up having a happy hour, and then the new employees for my entire company are having like this beach party tomorrow, and I'm really, really looking forward to the beach party. I think I might need to go to the store and buy sunscreen because what is it? My friend's wedding was on the beach, and I ended up getting some pretty interesting sunburn. Whatever, being outside for 3 hours during prime burning time. I'm okay now. It only swung a little bit and it didn't peel. So as far as magnitude of sunburn goes, it's not too bad. But it's been a while since I've been sunburned, but I should probably make sure I have lots of sunscreen for tomorrow. Especially since I'll be wearing a bathing suit. What else? I think that's everything. So I'd really, really love to have your suggestions about what I should knit next. Like, check out my queue. Should I really just like buckle down and knit the stupid socks for my grandpa anyways? Or should I make something for myself? I'd really like to know. And I will be seeing you guys again on the 23rd. So have a great week, guys. Bye-bye.